This Lamar Show. Yeah, I'm having trouble saying my own name. This is kind of a bittersweet day. Before we get into this, I want to say, Greg, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your amazing training. I don't think I've ever changed this much through training in a few, like in the past few months. I've learned so much and I look at things in such a different way. Um, every training session, I mean, you brought it like 150%, like that's what I love. You were prepared, everything was organized, and it was clear and concise. The only thing is, every time I left your training, I mean, my mind was just blown, and I literally probably couldn't fit another crumb or ounce of information in the old brain. But I went back to all the replays. I'm glad that you did that for us because I took notes. I was able to pause the replay and took notes, and I made sure my notes made sense. And even then, I was picking up a lot more from just listening to it a second time. But the other thing I want to mention, I remember on a private coaching session I had with you, again, I learned so much. And I remember you and me sitting down, we were talking about some training that I took and it went along with, using some paid advertising. I just don't want to get into those details too much. And you asked me how much you spent. And I spent it was over $10,000, but close enough, just round it off. It was like 10,000. And you looked at me and basically in one sentence said, Lamar, it's too much. It's too complicated. You're in too deep. He said, don't waste your time. And I remember, like, I knew you were right, but it's like the stubborn self in me or whatever, right? It took me a little while, like even after our call and probably into the next day, right? It's slowly then I started, understanding what you were saying, just more or less, right? Catching up. I was working through my mind, right? Just getting over it and saying, yeah, I know he's right, but I don't want to quit. But that was my stubborn self. And then I said, I bet, I did. I made the decision right then and there to stop. I mean, it wasn't immediate, but it did happen shortly after. And one of the things I want to say after all that long explanation, I'm glad I did. Like I could have even spent a heck of a lot more money and kept getting deeper into it, right? And it was too early. I took a shot, right? And I don't regret any of that because I actually took some learning away. And that's what I started doing. I went back and said, okay, the money's gone. And it's not like I was scammed. It was probably just too early for me to do it. Like you were right. So I really started taking and looking at it a different way. I'm like, okay, what can I learn from this experience, right? So I was able to do that. But again, I want to thank you, Greg, for every single thing. Like I said, I've just learned so much. Even today's training, I mean, you brought it like 200%. And my questions, like even just when you started saying, well, the questions you should be asking, like it was just so obvious, right? But this is why coaching is so important. And I think, and I'm definitely in the mindset where, I'll always have some coaching going on in my life. And again, Greg, I want to thank you again. Amazing, amazing stuff. Thanks.